And I think that's a sign that we're actually live. Again, I'm Jared Bailey, Benefits Global Brow Expert, and I have our lovely model here, Claire, today.
Hi, guys.
And we're going to be answering all of your brow related questions. So, you know what that means. If you have any question whatsoever related to brows, of course, comment below and let us know what they are. So until then, we're just going to kick things off and talk to Claire about her brows. Now,
Let's
Claire,
do it.
be honest. Tell everybody what you have in your brows right now.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Come closer. I want you guys to really see. This is
Get
her
closer.
bare naked brows, people. Now, you have a really nice shape, I do have to say.
you.
Like, really nice natural shape. It's super flattering. Now, if those of you at home are trying to figure out, like, how to find your perfect shape, you can always make 3 simple measurements to really find your perfect shape to your brow. So just take a look. We'll come a little closer, and I will use this. I'm going to use a little bit of Brow Zings. This is our wax and powder duo. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to dip into the wax and I'll show you how to mark out your brows and to create that perfect map. So you can go in, measure from that dimple of the nose. So right where you would get your nose pierced. Good thing she has hers pierced, just to show you guys.
Helping you out.
She did that for you today. You can measure straight up and you can go right to that beginning portion of the brow. You can do that on both sides. I'm only going to mark one, but you can see on both sides. Now what that does, that tells you where your brows should start. And this actually, the closer they are together, the slimmer your nose is going to look. Now, the second point you want to look for is the arch. So we're going to measure from the outer portion of the nose across the center of the iris, and it's going to point right there to where your brow is actually the highest. So you can see, made a little mark there, and this is going to give you natural like height and the maximum amount of height that you can actually have in your brow without like overdoing it. You know, you don't want to be that girl.
No,
Yeah.
Don't want to be that.
You
girl.
want to be that gal, but you don't want to be that girl.
So true.
So now you want to find where they end. Now, the end you're going to measure from the outer portion across the outer corner of the eye, and it's going to touch exactly where your brow should end. Now, that's going to be for your length. Now, everybody just thinks like, your brows just end where they end. They are wrong. Not true. Not true at all.
True.
You want to find the right length for your brow because what's going to happen, like if you have a bit of a rounder face and you extend that tail by making this measurement, what tends to happen is it gives the illusion of a more like oval shaped face. It starts to slim it down. We start to break up those proportions and those spaces of the face. And then if you had like a really skinny face, which nobody really complains about, right? But if you did, maybe it was too skinny, if that's a thing, what happens is that your brows tend to be a bit shorter when you make that measurement, and it kind of plumps up the face. So it's all an illusion, people. Now, what I'm going to do is we want to fill in her brows, but today we're going to go with something really easy. So these are the points that you can actually find to identify if you don't have already this nice shape that you already have. Congratulations. She goes to the brow bar, people, you can tell.
I do.
Now, what I would suggest, like, we want to first find the right shade of brow product. So what I actually used to map her, that's not her color. I just grabbed a product. That's actually shade number 5. With our brow collection, we actually have 6 shades of colors. So we have 2 lights, 2 mediums, and 2 deeps. Now, if you're a blonde or like platinum blonde or dirty blonde or even like a gray, you might want to be a 1 or a 2. If you're a little bit darker, like you're in the brunette category, light brown to like medium chestnut, you're going to be a 3 or a 4. And if you're darker than that, you're going to be a 5 and a 6. Now, look at this. Stunning. Lucky girl. Is this your natural color?
It is. I've never dyed my hair before.
Virgin hair.
Virgin hair.
This is so rare. I want to shave it off and keep it.
Please don't.
Well, we'll talk. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of blend those marks the way that I made. I'm actually going to use a shade 6. This is her natural hair color, and so we want to use something that's close to that. So I'm going to use Goofproof Brow Pencil.
My fave.
My fave too. I love it. So what do you like about it?
Well, the custom tip.
Yeah.
Well, that teardrop tip.
That teardrop
is
tip,
amazing.
people. It's tears of joy, in case you were wondering. But you can see it has that little sharp edge at the tip, and that's going to give you definition. And then that wide base down below is going to be a quick fill. Now, this pencil's brand new. So with any like new waxy pencil, I always kind of warm it up on my hand just because wax is better when it's warm. Now I'm going to go in, and I'm actually going to go to the beginning portion of her brow, and I'm going to turn the pencil so it's wide. See, like if I was going like this, it's not wide. This way it's wide. And I'm going to start pushing that up through her hair. Now, I'm just going to start, you can see it just starts to really softly, easily apply. This is going to create like this nice wash of color. And if you get it on the skin, it's okay because you're going to blend it afterwards and make it look really, really natural. Sometimes it's got to look real weird before it looks real good. So now I'm following the way, like the direction that her hair is actually laying and the way it's growing. And you can see it's really creating that soft, natural wash of color. Now I'm going to flip this over and you can see there's a spoolie on the other side and I'm going to blend it. So anywhere that we're on the skin, I'm going to just start to soften that up and then push that product through the hair. And you can see it really starts to give this brow nice shape. Now look at this versus that. So you can see it starts to give it that nice natural shape. Let's say you want more definition. Because Thanksgiving is not full of enough drama, you need to add a little bit to your eyebrows. Maybe you're not going home and you miss the drama. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this little tip and I'm just going to go into her brow and anywhere that we want to add more definition or more drama, we can. So let's say she wants more of an arch. I'm going to go right along her arch and I'm just going to start to slowly pull this through. I'm going to do it a little bit along that base. And then I always, just for good measure, go in and soften it up, right? I like to keep it pretty much like a little fade, like a gentle fade from the beginning, a gentle fade from the beginning of the brow, and then let it get darker as we kind of go along through the brow, because you can see her natural unfilled brow, it sort of looks like that. You see it looks lighter in the beginning, and then it gets deeper as the hair gets thicker and a bit more coarse. So you're seeing that. So what we've done is we've kind of recreated that look actually on her brow. That looks good, girl. I'm into it. I mean, I am the global brow expert for Benefit Cosmetics, in case you're like, who is this guy? This is what I do all day, every day. Now, you can leave it like this, absolutely, because it's pretty. There we go. It's really pretty, but let's say that you wanted to add a little bit more. Now, why not? You want to go with more?
Let's do it.
More is always better. I don't care what they say. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of Gimme Brow. Okay, so this is going to be really cool. This is going to really intensify her eyebrow because her brow hairs, they're kind of fine. And a lot of you may feel like you have little fine little brow hairs or they're not like thick enough or you just want fullness. If you want to add fullness to hair, if you want to add volume, you have to treat it like you do the hair on your head, right? You've got to add products that give it that volume. So Gimme Brow does exactly that. So this is actually our volumizing fiber gel. If you haven't tried it, do it after this video. Go to Sephora or Ulta or Macy's or one of our boutiques. And you can see, whoop, brand new. I love that sound. So this is actually a little volumizing fiber gel. So inside this gel formula, there's tiny little microfibers that actually adhere to the hair. So I'm going to go in. This is actually shade number 5 because it only comes in 3 shades, a light, a medium, and a deep. And I'm going to go in and I'm just going to start to sweep this over the hairs. And you can see as we're doing it, it's not making it darker, it's making it fuller, and it actually looks like she has more hair where she doesn't. I mean, it really does. It's almost like magic, but
really
makeup.
is.
Yeah. I mean, they both start with M, so it's pretty close. And you can see that's a nice, that looks beautiful. I want you to kind of pull back and look straight ahead. Look at the difference. Wah, wah. Wow. That's the kind of that's what I'm talking about. This is
what we do.
Yeah. Okay. Again, Thanksgiving is like 3 days away, and everybody's starting to draft their family newsletters and all of that craziness. If you want to make your family newsletter this year, this is how it's done. The women like, Claire has the best eyebrows in our entire family. Congratulations, Claire.
Thank you.
You should feel really proud about it. So again, if you guys have any questions, we just launched a whole collection of brow products in June. So if you have any questions about how to use them or shade selection, anything like that, let us know below. That's right. Let us know.
Jared, I know you don't have our setting gel on you right now, but we've got a question about it. How do I prevent my brows from looking gelled down when I use a setting gel?
Okay.
This is Christina.
Christina, girlfriend, that's a very good question. So if you take the setting gel and you go over, and sometimes it can look a little matted down depending on how thick your hair is. Get a spoolie, like any spoolie tool will do. We actually have this one here that has 2 different types of bristles. One is like to groom and one is to blend. And on the other side, you got a hard angle brush. But after you comb your setting gel through your brow, take a spoolie, just a clean one, not with any gel, and literally you're going to lift it off of the skin and you're going to give that brow more life. Because that's what happens. A lot of times when you coat with a gel, it will stick to the skin. But taking a clean brush, you're almost kind of teasing it off of the skin, and then it starts to have like its own legs again. There you go. So if you have any questions like Christina, let us know. We've got those.
We've got one more.
Let's hear it.
I have the old Gimme Brow. This is Guadalupe. I have the old Gimme Brow. Is it the same amazing formula?
Guadalupe, we would not change that on you. It is the same amazing formula. What we've done, actually, is we made it better. So before, Gimme Brow only came in 2 shades, a light medium and a medium and deep. Now, what we did is we added this 3rd new shade, and it's really beautiful. And in case you can't see, I'll kind of swatch a little bit on my hand. You can see it's really warm, has a lot of warmth to it. So a lot of people were finding that they weren't quite a light and they weren't quite the deep. So we went ahead and we added this 3rd neutral shade, and this is a warmer shade. Whereas the previous ones, the previous light and the deep, they're both cooler because a lot of people with lighter hair and deeper hair didn't have cooler undertones. So we added this medium one. Guadalupe, try it. Go out, next time you're at an Ulta or Sephora or Macy's or a Benefit Boutique, pick one up, swipe it on your brows, see what you think.
And Maya says that her Gimme Brow is drying out. Is that normal? How often should you replace Gimme Brow?
Well, so Gimme Brow, the great thing about this, let me teach you guys a little trick first. This is what I do. Gimme Brow, for me, I personally like it better after it's been open for about a month and a half because I like it to have a little bit more grit to it. Anytime a product, a gel, is exposed to air, it's going to start to dry. So if you're doing this to your Gimme Brow at home, you see that? Don't do this. This is a quick way for it to dry up because you're pumping air into the tube. Same goes for your mascaras or any other gels. This ain't good for nobody, girlfriend. So when you're using Gimme Brow, if you feel like there's too much on your brush, when you take it, swirl it out. The little swirl. The Gimme Brow swirl. If you can't remember it, just remember that I did this on YouTube. Yeah. But then you can take it. This is a different shade. I used shade 5, or the deep shade, on the other brow under Goofproof. But this is that 3rd shade. This is that new medium shade. So if you're looking for like a weekend brow, you can always just fill it in with Gimme Brow in this medium shade just to show you. Even if you don't have like that perfect match to your hair with Gimme Brow, it doesn't matter because it's a gel. So that viscosity, oops, got a little bit there. The viscosity is quite different. It's not like mascara where it's going to like coat the hairs. This like adheres to the hair and to the skin, but it still is a very natural, like it's almost like a rinse, like getting a glaze on the hair. That looks really pretty.
We've got lots of questions about Gimme Brow. Eden wants to know if the new shade of Gimme Brow would work for somebody with red hair.
100%. Eden, that's a great question. Let me swap models really quickly. Get those brows naked. Whitney, you come up here. Now, for redheads, people ask us all the time, like, what do we do if we have red hair? I'm going to tell you this. I've gone all over the world with this brow collection. If you're a redhead, shade number 3 in any of our products, whether it's Gimme Brow, whether it's Browsings, Goofproof, Precisely My Brow, Cabrow, number 3 is the perfect shade for redheads. So you can take my word on it. And if not, I don't know, go prove it to yourself. Go find an Ulta or Sephora and try it on. You'll see. Yeah, it's a good question. Now, gorgeous. Look at gorgeous Whitney. Can't stand it.
Before you even start her brows, we've got a good question for Fresh Brows.
Okay, Fresh Brow.
Chris wants to know if you've got any tips for first-timers with OCD about brow symmetry.
Chris, the struggle is real. Okay? So here's the thing. If you really are worried about symmetry, I showed earlier how to map out your brows, and this is what you would really do. So you would go and you'd start from that dimple of the nose, just measure straight up to that beginning portion, and you'll see you're going to find that perfect start for both of the brows. So they're going to be perfectly even measuring inward. Now, if you're looking for the arch, this is where most people have trouble with symmetry. Measure from that dimple of the nose. So outside, don't press it in like that. Just measure, and you're going to find the arch. Okay, so you're going to make a dot there and a dot there. But then what you want to do to see if they're symmetrical is take a brush, anything straight, you look in the mirror, and you can touch. Look, her brows are not even. You see that? As beautiful as she is, this one's lower. You got a low brow and a high brow. It's okay, girl. One of the things that's really normal. So you can always, you measure it and you can bring it up a little bit. It's normal to have one brow lower, one brow higher. Don't look at your brows in like together. You have to kind of see what they're doing to your overall face. So what I always suggest is that people make those 3 marks, the start, the arch, and the end. And then take a step back and look in the mirror and see what they're doing. Because really, this brow should be working for this eye and this side of the face. Whereas this brow should work for this eye and this side of the face to start to balance it. And it'll create the illusion of symmetry on the entire face. Whereas if your brows are perfectly symmetrical, sometimes you start to lose the symmetry on the face because our faces generally aren't even side to side. I hope that makes sense. If not, just rewind it and then let me know. Yeah, come back to it. So what we're going to do with Whitney is we're going to use a little bit of Cabral. Because Cabral is great. We love Cabral. I'm going to use it in shade number 5. If you guys haven't tried this is incredible. It's a cream gel. It's really nice because the cream gel actually lasts for 24 hours. So that's a plus. I mean, who knows what you're doing on Thanksgiving and how long you need it to last. And I know what you're thinking already. You're like, this looks complicated. I have to get a brush. No, we did the brush for you. It's right inside the cap. And then you snap it back in.
For you, Jared.
Let's hear it.
Nina says, what would you use to shape really bushy eyebrows?
Bushy brows are like 24 karat problem, first of all. But even bushy brows need a bit of structure. So what you could do for bushy brows, I would use a pencil like Precisely. So if you have bushy, unruly brows, the first thing that you would want to do, let's just pretend these are bushy and unruly. Like that. So what you would want to do is you would want to go in and first groom the hair in the direction you would want it to stay. So like, let's say that's where you would want it, right? Then you can go in and actually spot fill. So you see this area in her arch? It's a little bit weaker. Turn a little bit. It's a little bit weaker up front. So those are the areas that you could really concentrate. So if you have those big, bushy, unruly brows, go into these little areas and then just start to spot fill just those areas. You don't have to fill in the entire brow because you don't necessarily want to make it super, super dark or super, super dramatic. Just go in. And you can already see at the beginning where we've started to fake those little areas, how it starts to make it look fuller. And you can literally go to your desired fullness. If you want it to look thicker and fuller, you can add more. It's really literally up to you. But you see already how much fuller that beginning part looks? Now we'll go through here. The only thing you need to know about Precisely, this is a precision pencil, so it's going to make these little hair-like strokes. So you want to work in the direction of that hair growth. You don't want to fight it because that's when it starts to look really unnatural. So you can see like her hair is growing over. So now I'm working over. And in the beginning, it was growing upward. So I was working upward. And like we'll get a little bit of this area here. And don't worry about messing it up or like going down on the skin because it's makeup. Like you blend that away. There you go. Whoop, did it again. And then, yeah, there we go. And then you can just flick it. And always like that tail is super important to pay attention to because everybody's tail starts to, it can start to look a little bit weaker. So I always just go through and I just do like a little wash of color along that tail. But take a look at the difference. You can see like weak to chic. Yeah. So if you have those big bushy brows, it's not always about like covering all like the skin that you see underneath. In fact, using a pencil like this and flicking through those little bitty strokes, this is actually going to make you look like you have that really natural fullness, and it gives you that dimension and texture. So this is like what we kind of like the feather brow look. So if you go in and you really want to like fill this. Now this is a shade number 5. If I really wanted to make it like really dramatic, but still have the same type of like textured effect, what you could do is go in with a shade deeper. So now I'm going to use the same pencil, but I'm using it in a shade 6. So she'll have a blend of the 5 and 6. Just think about your hair. There's natural lowlights and highlights in her hair, and that's just, what God gave her. She's so kind. Now I'm going to go in and add this in the shade 6, and that's going to create those natural lowlights and highlights through her brow.
As you're doing this brow, can you tell Morgan how long the tail of the eyebrow should be?
Sure. That's a great question. Everybody always asks Morgan, like, where your brow should end. So just measure from the outer portion, let it touch that outer corner of the eye, and it'll tell you right there is where the end of the brow should be. And that's exactly where we stopped on her. But you want to make sure you use this, like, a gentle taper towards the end, because you don't want it to be, like, too chubby through here to where it, like, doesn't have a natural point. That natural taper at the end, it's going to make it look a lot more. It gives more like dimension to the face and starts to really block out those proportions. But this looks really nice, and you can see this isn't overdone. This is actually a totally like wearable brow. That looks good, girl. Yeah. Here's looking at you. I love that. Now, you can wear this alone, or you can add product on top. Let's say that you wanted to like go really crazy. Let's say she added like highlights to her hair. If you're highlighting your hair at home, and you're like doing like something deep with like those like blonde highlights to it, or like an ombre like hairdo where it's dark and then it gets really like light and blonde at the tips, you probably should add highlights to your brows. And so to do that, we're going to use 3D brow tones. Now, this is really cool because this is actually a brow highlighting gel that adds these subtle highlights. You can see this is actually like a nice like pearlized formula. I'll show you a little bit on my hand. It's almost metallic, but we shaped the wand like a turbine engine. That sounds crazy. We think of everything. So we shaped the wand like this, so that way it actually, when you comb it over, it picks up the hair and deposits the highlights, and then it puts the hair back in its place. So we're gonna go, and you can see it starts adding that natural texture, that dimension, and that like shine and glaze over the hair. This is probably one of my like all-time favorite brow products because there's really not anything on the market like it. I mean, it's really unique to have like the ability to add that like warmth and that looks really good. It's like sun-kissed. Yeah. Turn a little bit so you can see the before brow, the after brow, right? These are the brows that at Thanksgiving all your cousins are going to be jealous of. And it's high time they're jealous of you for a change. That's the way I feel in my family anyways. But it looked really good. So now I want to show you, on the other brow, I'm going to show you Cabral. So this is a really cool product. If you guys have not tried Cabral yet, now's the time, people. So what you want to do is you pop the brush out of the cap. This is what it looks like before. Ta-da! That's what it does after. So then you have this full-size brush. And this is a cream gel. Now, the gel, you can see, like, it's really highly pigmented. So the way you want to really use this is first go in, take enough product. I always tell people to test it on their hand to see how much they have. But then you want to create, like, a little shelf along the bottom of your brow. So just go along the bottom and create a base. Because think about it, like, you need to, like, your brows are really defining the eyes. You want to really make sure that you have this structure in place. That structure is actually where you're going to work from. It's going to build the whole thing. You'll build the whole brow from that nice base structure. Now I'm going to go in, excuse me, and I'm going to go from here. I'm going to push it all the way up to the top of the brow. Now, I didn't start at the front. You'll notice that because I didn't want to add too much product in the front of the brow and make it look like a marker. I kind of started in the center. So when you feel like you have enough product off your brush, you can go back, work your way to the front, so it has that nice little natural fade. So I'm going in and I'm pushing it up all the way. Ta-da! And then I'll add a little bit more because you want to give it a little bit more definition. We need some definition along the top because I don't know if you guys were with us in the beginning, but you could see the beginning portion, this brow's a little bit lower than the other one, so I'm actually going to apply it to the skin. And that's the great thing about Cabral is that it actually, you can sculpt it, really you can sculpt any brow you want. It has that like unique ability to really build and look natural at the same time. So don't worry about this. This looks a little crazy right now, but we're going to blend it and you'll see how it blends through. Sometimes it always doesn't look pretty from the beginning. Sometimes you have to like finesse it. And we will. Don't you worry, people. And now I'm going to go through and blend it. So I'm going to take my little spoolie tool. This is probably like my favorite brow tool of anything because it has that little hard angle brush. But then it has this. Everybody needs that. So I'll take this and I'm just going to loosen up that product. So you can see like we removed like that hard line from where we built that little brow shelf. Now I'm going through and I'm softening that arch up. And I'll blend it all the way through the end. And see, this is the thing. Like, take it step by step, people. Because you can literally, I can take this, I can add more where I want to. Because like I might want to give her a little bit more length. And that's totally okay. So if I wanted to do that, I've already blended it. Now I'm going to go in. And then I'll blend this. Just to give it more length. And when you blend it and soften that up, it'll look real cool. Because eyebrows are cool. There you go.
So cool.
So cool. So you can see the difference on both. This one has a lot of stuff in it. If you're just joining us, this one has like 2 different Precisely My Brows, a little bit of 3D brow tones. This one, just Brow. And this is like a pretty, on a drama spectrum, I'll let you decide. I'll let you decide, people, on the drama scale, how dramatic would you rate that brow?
Maybe 8? I don't know.
8. I'm rating it a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I go for more of the natural brow.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I think but this is the thing. It's different with everybody. We're all like, people ask me all the time, like, I just want I want it natural. Some people's natural, it ain't your natural. It ain't my natural. But this is pretty, yeah, it is. It is. This is my natural brow. For me. It's always wearing it every day. But I think we'll switch up models.
We've got a couple related questions while these ladies are switching out.
Let's hear it. Lay it on me.
Eden wants to know if you've got any tips for growing out your brows, and Maya would like you to explain and demonstrate our new brow conditioner.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, good thing they both go together. So if you're trying to grow out your brows, there's a couple things you can do. Number one, you definitely want to look for products that have the right ingredients, okay? So if you think about like your hair on your head and the way that you want to make it grow, like you go to your hairdresser, they're going to tell you all the time, like when you condition your hair, you have to have the right conditioner and you need to like massage it into your head because that stimulates blood flow, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a doctor. I date them, but I'm not one. So the same rule applies for your brows. Your brows are hair. So you want to look for products that have the right ingredients and you also want to kind of give it that same like stimulation. So what we've done is actually we took all of that like knowledge and we created Bravo Conditioning Primer. So what this is, it's a primer at the end, but it also conditions. Now you can see this conditioning, like the actual like applicator has these little nodules on there. So that's actually going to act like a little massager and that's the actual primer coming out of it. Now, what's inside the primer, it has soy and keratin proteins inside, which are actually proven to make hairs thicker, fuller, and healthier looking. So, if you're trying to grow out your brows, I'd say do a little click of this morning and at night. Try it for 21 days. That's my challenge to you people. Try it for 21 days. Your brows will speak volumes. That was a wink. You got it? That was a stupid pun. But you'll see for yourself. Try it. Now, the way you want to use it, because it is a primer as well, and you know primers lock on your products. It's like a makeup magnet. So I'm going to go in. This is actually too much. What you want to do is just one click. That's it. It's one click per brow.
A one-click wonder.
A one-click wonder. God, you're better than me. Now I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to brush this over. And I'm going to use those little nodules to kind of like massage that skin. So it's this little silicone bristled applicator. It actually looks really pretty to me when it's just on there and it kind of grooms the hairs.
Those bristles feel nice too.
Does it feel like a massage?
Yeah, it's a little brow massage.
And then all you have to do in the meantime, when you put this on, is you let it dry. That's the only rule that you need to know. Let it dry completely before you apply your brow products. Because just like, let's just say you were using a primer on your face, you wouldn't put it on wet and then add any kind of powders or things like that on top of it. You need to let it dry and let it set. It takes like 20 seconds. Take a sip of your coffee, swipe a couple of times on Tinder. You do you. You do whatever you need to do. And then you're going to go in and fill. So let's see. Feel dry? Feels dry to me.
Yeah.
That was no time. That was like 2 swipes. And I wasn't even reading the profiles.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, right. That's it. So what we're gonna do? What should we show you on her brow? You guys tell me what you want to see. I mean, I grabbed Precisely because I really like Precisely my brow. But if you want to see a brow tutorial, if you want to see how to use brow zings, or Goofproof, or what am I forgetting?
We had a question about how to fill in sparseness. What's the best way to fill in a patchy spot?
So, you know, patchy spots are great because exactly what I'm having right now is Precisely my brow. So, like, if you see this, Precisely is really great because it gives you those little hair-like strokes. And if you get this home and you feel like it's not, like, flat enough or, like, sharp enough anymore, you can just roll it all the way down and press it flat. Just press it flat on your bathroom counter. It's clean. If you wanted to fill in, like, let's just say, like, these are little patches, right? So let's say this is your patch or your sparse. Style your brows the way you want to. Then go in and just start flicking through the area that you want to add more structure to. You don't have to, like, add it all over. You just add it in those areas. You can literally go in, like, up front. If we want to add a little bit more, just work in that same direction your hair is growing and flick it. And you can, like, honestly, this is so easy to do because the way Precisely my brow works is that it almost gives you, like, a faux follicle effect when you actually use this pencil. And yes, I said faux follicle. I know, like, the internet's blowing up with faux freckles. The next big thing is faux follicles, people. Stay with me, okay? What this does, when you first make contact on the skin, whether it's in your brows, you can see it's darker to lighter. That's giving you that follicle look. If you look at your bare naked brows now, that's what you can see where the hair starts. You can see where the hair ends. We mimicked that same look in a pencil. So that way it gives you that faux follicle look just by flicking your wrist. And you can see, you can just go through and add those flicks, and it gives you this really nice, natural brow shape. And you can have any kind of brow shape you want. You can go ultra defined, you could go really curved, you can make it longer, very dramatic, whatever you want. But look at that. Stunning. Yep. Yes. That's the difference. It looks really good. You want to see?
Yeah.
And when you're using the primer to start out with,
Ooh.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You really got those patchy spots.
I know. I want to do...
You are a brow doctor.
I am. I mean, guys, they didn't give me the Global Brow Expert title for nothing. This is what I do. I think I want to do a brow zings on the other side.
Let's do it.
This, my friends...
Jared, Guadalupe wants to know if you can do the same thing you just did with Cabral. She said the tail of her brows are sparse and she has trouble making it look natural when she draw it in. So could she use her Cabral to do that?
Totally. You can absolutely use Cabral for it, but what you want to make sure, Guadalupe, is that your brush on Cabral is clean. So take a little tissue when you do it. Take a little tissue before you start and whoop, swipe up. So you want to make sure it's clean and that those bristles are nice and firm. And if you don't feel like they're firm enough, you should pick up one of these. We designed this to go with any of our brow products. This is a double-ended. It has the spoolie tool on one side, the hard angle on the other. These are, feel this. Somebody feel this. But that's really, describe that.
It's really firm.
Yeah. It sounded really dirty when I said that, but I didn't mean it like that. But this is really firm, Guadalupe. So if you want to, like, mimic that ends just like I did there, you can do that. You would just take it, and instead of dragging, you would stamp. So that stamping with Cabral is going to give you that same kind of linear look. So try that at home. And if not, pick up a Precisely My Brow. One of my favorite things about eyebrows, Guadalupe, is that I kind of think of them like your wardrobe, right? Layers work. They work for many reasons. So you can always shape and fill with Cabral and then take Precisely My Brow to add texture. And to me, that always creates a more natural-looking brow, really. So you can put that on your Thanksgiving wish list. No turkey this year, just a Precisely My Brow. So now I'm going to use a little bit of brow zings. If you guys haven't used this before, there's a wax on one side and a powder on another. And then it comes with this little brush that's got a hard angle and a little soft blending tool. So you're going to hold that for me.
Okay.
And you're going to dip into the wax first. So you don't need a lot, just like, that's plenty. And I'm using a shade 6 because that's her shade. And we have 6 different shades. So we have a 1 and a 2, which are both lights. We have a 3 and a 4, which are medium. And then we have a 5 and a 6, which is deep. And as you can see, like, it's all about how much you apply. So don't feel like, even if you're like her skin tone and her hair color, like 6 is going to be too dark. This is actually shade 6. And you can see it's just about the amount that you apply it and how you apply it. Because think about it like this. I mean, how many of you out there are guilty of being like, no, I don't want to be the darkest shade because I don't want it to look crazy. So you buy something too light and then you have to apply a lot of it so it starts to match the hair. Well, that's what makes it start to look really unnatural. If you buy the right shade, then you can apply as little or as much as you want and it starts to blend in with the hair and it looks really, really natural. So you can see this wax, it literally sticks to that hair and to the skin, and it really does start to really groom this brow and give it really nice structure. Look at that. That's pretty. That's pretty. Now, if this is just one of the 2 that come with it, if you want to add more, like let's say that you want a little bit more definition along the arch, that's when you use this powder. So you go in, and you just dip into that powder and then tap off any excess, that's silly, excess powder. And then you can go in and I'm literally going to just buff it into the areas that I want more structure or more shape. So you just buff it in. And I always like recommend putting it around that arched area anyway, because the hair tends to be a bit more like thick and dense there naturally.
Jared, you're kind of on your way there right now, so I'm going to throw this question out.
Yeah, go for it.
You're showing natural eyebrows mostly. Can you show how to do the Instagram brow?
Sure. So you can take any brow from natural to Instagram, really. It's about defining those edges. So this is like, we're going to back up a little bit. So we're going to keep this as really natural, and we'll start to make this one a bit more Instagram. So the rule of thumb is use a product that's going to shape or sculpt or define. So like I would suggest using Browsings or a Cabral. So starting with one of these 2 to really create that shape. So go ahead and like what you want to do first is what I just did. Fill this whole thing with color. And then you want to go in and start to add levels of intensity. So I'm going to stop about halfway to that beginning. So we want to leave this a little bit bare, but we need to add structure on the top and on the bottom. Because if you think about it, those pictures, those brows on Instagram or any like real social media right now that you're looking at, they have very defined and very sculpted areas through here, about halfway through the arch, all the way to the end. The other thing that they are doing is they're kind of overextending this tail. So you want to bring that tail out a little bit further. So we just did with, ooh, I almost dropped my brush. We just did that. And now I want to go add a little bit of powder. And you can see it starts to really define it. And give it that nice, like, slay, don't play kind of brow. And then I'm going to kind of blend this through. I'm going to soften up this front piece. Do you have a Boing O2 over there? I'm going to ask for somebody to grab me something off camera so I can show you another little trick. Excuse me. So I'm going to style this hair upward. Now, all of this area here, we need to like give it a little bit more structure for that real Instagram look. That was so quick. So now I'm going to go in. I'm going to add a little bit of structure here. So it's okay if you need to look in the mirror and you kind of pull your skin a little bit tighter just to give it that structure. But we want to make sure we have that nice crisp line, which now we do. And then I'm going to add just some powder through this beginning portion just to make sure we have that same, basically we want the same structure but a different type of texture. That powder and that wax have a different texture, so be really gentle when you're filling it in, not to blend the two together. And now Oh, that looks good, girl. Now I'm going to take a little bit of concealer. Okay, this is like a big thing. You want to take a little... I want to clean my brush off of my hand. This is not the way you should be cleaning your brush at home. Okay?
And Jared, we definitely need to see a brow highlight here. We've got a question about how you
100%.
highlight under your arch.
Well, that's next, actually. Well, first we're going to go on top, and then we're going to go underneath. So I'm going to take a little bit of Boing. So this is actually like our industrial strength concealer. And now I'm going to take this, and I'm literally going to go outside that brow line just to make sure it's as crisp as we want it. So just take that hard angle brush. This is the same brush that has that spoolie on the other end. And I'm just going to blend it up with my finger in a second. But I'm just getting it nice and crisp along that line and all the way down that end. So you want to get as close as you can to the brow makeup without marrying the two together. And then just take your finger and blend that area together. But then the next thing is underneath the brow, because now you need a highlight underneath. So this is what you're going to do. You'll take highbrow. Now, I'm going to use both of these in a second, but highbrow, this is really cool because this is like a linen pink highlighting pencil. So you can see, like, you blend it out. It goes with really any skin tone. So I'm going to take it, and I'm literally going to just close your eye. I'm going to go all along that bottom portion of the brow. Now, you can blend this with your finger, but if you're going for crispness and sharpness, go ahead and use that same brush that we've been using, that hard angle brush with that spoolie on the other side. And you're going to work it all the way up to that line. This part you can just soften. You can blend this down. Then you can, blend it into your eyeshadow, whatevs. But this little high arch here, that we want to really showcase that. And all the way down through the end. And now you can soften this. I always take my finger like where I'm not going to like blend the two products together. It's okay to soften with your finger through here. So that way you're sure not to like mush it all up together. But you see how nice and crisp that is? Open your eye, pull back a little bit. Yeah, yes. So if you're just watching us, we did one really natural fill, and then we did one that's like the Instagram girl. Now, if you want, like, if you're into that strobing kind of look, you can do that with your eyebrows. You can take highbrow glow. So this is really cool. So we have one that's linen pink, and then we have this one that's like this champagne color, which I love it. It's like the inside of like this oyster shell. It's like that kind of like rainbowy like magic. I don't know. So I'm going to take that. You can put it over highbrow. If you want it to pop, you can put this right over the top of highbrow. You can also wear this alone. But just put it right over the top, just so it gives it that nice glowing effect. And pat, pat, pat. Pat it out. And then all you have to do is think about what you're going to caption it when you post this brow to Instagram. Like, okay, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
What would you say about that eyebrow?
Let's see. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I don't know, but I'm
Right?
not here to play.
Right? Say it again.
I would probably caption it, I'm not here to play.
I'm here to slay.
I'm here to slay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. I like that.
And then with the 100 emoji.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I like that. She ain't here to play, though. You can tell from her eyebrow. All right, next model. Let's bring up
Now
Whitney.
let's switch out.
That's Gorge. Make it
Thank
make it
you.
count. Make sure you
Thank
tag me on
you.
Instagram. Thank
Oh,
you.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you have any questions, you guys still have a few more minutes. You can type your questions below. Let me know. I mean, that's kind of what I'm for. Now, we have our lovely Whitney. She's back.
Bare brows.
Bare brows. What do we want to see in Whitney? What are her brow goals? What do you normally do?
I usually wear Goofproof,
Okay.
and that's pretty much it.
Whoa.
We've got
Sometimes
lots of
do
questions
3D
about how to
brushes.
use Goofproof.
Oh, then let's do
Lots of people who want to
Goofproof.
see Goofproof.
I love Goofproof. Now,
We've also got how about going from an arched brow to more straight, or making a straight brow look a little more arched. So how do you, if you
Cool.
don't have the shape you want, how do you make it the shape
sure.
you
So
want?
what we're going to do, on this brow, I'm going to show you how to use Goofproof. And on this brow, I'll show you how to straighten out your brow. Sound like a plan? Sold. So this is Goofproof. Now, this is really unique because of the custom teardrop tip here. It actually fills in and defines the brow. So use that wider part along that bottom to fill in, and then this narrow tip to give definition. So this is really cool. The way we designed it is to actually be activated by the oils on your hair. So when you go in, it actually, you'll see, you get two different colors on the skin and in the hair. So if you're starting with Goofproof and you're just starting out, you can just really take it and press it into that skin. You can see it starts to really adhere to that hair and also onto the skin, but you're getting two different colors. So you get that natural highlight, low light effect and that dimension and that texture. So it really is the type of pencil that you really can't mess it up. So I'm going to take it all the way through here. And then I'll just carry it through the end. And I'm just going to blend it. And you can see like soft, that's a really nice, natural, soft way to wear the brow. If you want to add that definition that we were talking about, you twirl it up and you use that tip of that pencil and you literally can go in and sketch it and add more definition, and then you just soften it up. You just pull it through. So the Goofproof is really, really easy. The reason we made it like this, like honestly, we wanted it to be the world's easiest to use pencil. So it doesn't, when it gets out of line or it's on the skin, you just blend it. And look, no Goofproof, Goofproof. Yeah, it's simple. It's probably like, it is literally become one of the go-to brow products in our range because it does give you that quick instant payoff, but you really can shape and define with it. Now, straight brows, aka rhymes with Schmindel Jenner. Everybody is like talking about straighter brows and what they do for your face, but look at her brow. Look at her natural brow. It has a natural arch to it. So if you want to straighten out your brow, do you have a number 5 over there? Yeah, there's the box right here. So right here. Yeah, there's a box right there. So what you want to do is first look at the brow, and you kind of want to like measure it out. So like let's say her brow's going this way. If you want to go straight, this is where we would concentrate the color. So you can see we have to kind of cover up a little bit of that area there. So I'll take Cabral, because this is the cream gel, and the first thing that we'll do, because she's not going to get a perfectly straight brow with this natural arch. So I'll take a little bit of Cabral, and I'll always, like I said, I always test it to see how much I have. That's good. Then you want to go and first style the hair. So I'm going to kind of brush the hair a little bit downward because I want to make it look straighter. Now I'm going to take my product and I'm going to just tap it into that arch. And this is how we're going to start to straighten it out.
And how do you keep that product from drying out?
Close it, people. This is honestly, I've had my Cabral now for a very long time, longer than I probably should admit. But if you keep the lid on it and you keep it tight, you really shouldn't have a problem with it drying out. So literally just make sure, I know like a lot of us are in a hurry in the mornings. I'm guilty of that from time to time as well, to where I don't like close everything. Sometimes I leave stuff on my bathroom counter. People come over. It looks like there's been a tornado in my bathroom. But just keep it closed because it is like the seal that we've created with it is what, it's key. It's key. So you can see like we created that little shelf again with her brow. You can see there's hair down here. Chin back a little bit so you can see. We're kind of avoiding this hair by not carrying this taper down and following it upward. It's going to start to loosen that like severity of that higher angle. Instead, chin down, yep. We're going to go on top of her brow here. And we're going to start to fill, we're going to fill a little bit higher. So we're going just slightly above it. Don't follow this natural taper of that arch. You're going to kind of work against Mother Nature here. And now we're going to fill it in. So we created like that little base, like kind of like cagey, you see? Now we're going to start to fill it in and blend that color through. So I'm just going to take Cabral. And Guadalupe, if you're still here, we were talking about this earlier. You asked if we could like do those like little strokes. This is what I was kind of talking about before. You just kind of stamp in. And you need to follow it through. And don't worry, we are going to blend it so it's going to look really natural in a minute. But you'll see, like, we're going to just keep following this through. And then we start to blend this through. And once you start blending this is where it starts to get it really bit more of like a linear shape. Like I said, you're not ever going to have like a perfectly straight brow. And I would do like concealers and things like this to cover up the little area down here, which we'll do in a second. And then I'm just going to fill upward through here. And don't forget, you need to bring it all the way. Go be that girl or guy. Go all the way, especially when it comes to brows. And so like with this, Cabral, this is like, again, this is that cream gel. So there's a lot of like wiggle. There's a lot of playtime. And so you don't have to worry about it like drying too fast or setting too quickly. You really can start to get like create any structure, any kind of real shape that you really want. And then I'm just going to start to blend some of this a little bit. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Cabral. Now, we're starting to run down on time, friends. But you're getting the idea of how to straighten this out. I just want to add one more little dot. I'm going to use my beautiful little hard angle brush here. Just to straighten that out a bit more. And then I'll take a little concealer underneath it. But you can see, like, this starts to really straighten out that arch. And then just cover it up with your hair right there. See? That looks straight. That was a little bit of a joke. But you do want to make sure, because, like, that's the thing. This has got the, she does have hair here, so we do want to fill it in. But we're trying to avoid that little arch area. But you can see it starts to straighten that out. Now, normally, what I would do is take a little bit more concealer and blend it through here. But guess what? Brow hour is coming to an end, people. This has been really fun.
Really fun.
You know, if you still continue to have brow questions, we are the global brow experts, so you can ask us anytime. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
Oh, yeah.
All those places.
All the time.
And you can ask any of your brow questions anytime. We got you. And your brows. So thanks for tuning in for the second time to our YouTube Live. And again, if you like what you saw, if you loved it, comment below. If you didn't like it, go ahead. Comment below too. I dare you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys soon.